Hey guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel. And for today's video, I wanted to do a writing vlog showcasing the bad guys closing in on my main character in Project Death 2OV. I also pass a pretty big milestone, which is exciting, and enjoy some fun shenanigans along the way. Also, this video is being sponsored by Skillshare, so I'll be sure to talk about them later on in the video. But for now, let's get some coffee. So I've been in the process of re-outlining the last bit of Project Death. Now I outlined it before I started way back in like September or so, but for me, once I'm in the story, I do a better job of re-outlining like as I'm writing it. So that's what I'm doing here. I have 3 chapters encompassing 5 scenes from chapter 22 to chapter 24. I am loosely using Save the Cat Writes a Novel for this part, just to make sure that some of my beats, emotional arcs lined up with where I needed them to here. But that's what this vlog is going to be all about, is actually writing those scenes that I have now re-outlined times 2. My hope is that I've thought of everything and like somehow this goes completely smoothly, which it might. I also might remember something for later. I do have a note at the end of the only scene in chapter 24 that shows what the Dark Night of the Soul's gonna be. So I'm hoping that if I keep the next bit in mind, it will all just kind of flow together seamlessly and I won't have to re-outline again, especially because we are coming up on the part that I had an epiphany about, which kind of caused the re-outlining for later in the story. And we're at the part where I'm basically drafting entirely new words, which is really exciting. I kept waiting for this part to happen since I like completely cut out some of the importance of a character. Lots of his scenes are gone. And you know, it's one of those things where now I'm like, why did I think I needed those scenes from him in the first place? Like, what? But it does mean that these are 0 draft words that I'm going to hope I write to mimic 4th draft words. Other parts of the story are just like the ones that have been set since the beginning. Just it's a noticeable difference to me in how much better they are, just because I've looked over them so many times and like, anyways, so it's interesting to have this draft where there's like bits and pieces that aren't up to the same standard, but I'm hopeful that I will finish this about halfway through January, and then I'll have time before I give it to Jessica where I can go back through and punch some of like those more foreshadowing bits along the way and like bump up the writing to a better level, like across the board, you know? I also have parts of this in my campfire, and at some point I'll want to bring that up to what I have now because I think this wider context view will help me. But for now, let's get to the writing. All right, I'm up 874 words for the day, which is nice. I'm taking it chill. It is the weekend, so it's kind of like any progress made is great by me. I do wonder though, I had to highlight a chunk because I just couldn't get this piece of dialogue to fit. It's one of those where it's like we're moving along the conversation and I need to take it like just a slight turn. So I know the end of the conversation, but it's like I can't quite get the right line of dialogue to turn it that way just a bit. I'm sure it's something that like when I'm working on it tomorrow, it'll come to me and I'll figure it out. But it's just always so frustrating, especially as someone who loves dialogue. And I'm like, why will it not work for me? So let me know if you guys ever have that problem. Sometimes it's just like that, the little bit of connective bits where you're just like, why are you eluding me? I think it's even more annoying sometimes because we can absolutely nail that connective bit, and it flows so seamlessly, and you're like, of course the conversation or like the scene or whatever always meant to go that way. But when you don't nail it, it's so jarringly obvious where you're like, why is this coming out of left field? And I don't want it to be jarring. Anyways, it is Saturday mid-afternoon now, so I think I'm going to take a bit of a break and come back, maybe start over a clock. Okay, so the boyfriend and I went on a walk and I was talking to him about a YouTube video I had that was just like not panning out in the way that I needed it to. But I also needed something to replace it because it was important when I was going up and blah, blah, blah. And so he was spitballing with me and he said, like, have you ever considered doing a video about like your other hobbies slash the things you procrastinate your writing with? In a very sweet way. He's like, I think this would be a good video. And so anyways, I figured we would combine that in with this one, as you saw the puzzle that I was working on that I have completed. And there is a bit of a waiting period in between when I can do the top coat on one side and then do the other and then do a final coat. So we go write and drink coffee and then go back and then write and drink more coffee and then go back. And hopefully I will have finished chapter 22. Let's do this. Alright, I'm now at 1,339 and I skipped a little bit here and I just need to finish this off here, but this scene is actually almost done. Coffee's almost done. Let's go! Oh. If you'd used the letters, it's actually kind of interesting looking.
Oh, really?
In like a disarming sort of way. $1,477 words, and there are no more gaps. I've done it, minus the yellow, but you know what? We're moving on. Yay. So for other ways that I procrastinate on my writing, other hobbies I have, I do want to shout out the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Recently I've been trying to get back into embroidery, which I kept calling it cross stitch before, but apparently that is a completely different thing, or falls under the umbrella of embroidery. I have followed a few kits before, which have been really fun. Anytime I go to the craft store, I seem to pick up another one. And I also do want to try actual cross stitching. But one of the classes that I've been absolutely loving is painting with thread, modern embroidery for beginners. That's me, I'm a beginner. By Danielle Clough. I'd mostly just been subsisting off of searching for how to do certain stitches, but this class has been amazing because it also gives me tips and tricks along the way, like for a back stitch. Apparently the ideal length is about a fingernail, just under a centimeter, she says. Did not know that, had no idea. It's little things like that that have been so fun and helpful to learn, especially because Skillshare doesn't have any ads, so I just kind of stay in the zone and attempt to do it with her. So I've really been using Skillshare recently just to kind of dabble in things. weeks. But I think one of the first classes I ever completed was Saba Tahir's Writing Authentic Fiction, How to Build a Believable Character. And I know I've talked about this before, but I literally always quote it back to people about her advice to put a camera on yourself and interview the character, respond back in the character's voice, but like record it out and flesh that out. That's something I never would have thought of before taking our class. So now I just preach it to everyone, everywhere, all the time. If you like to dabble like me, one of the great things about Skillshare is that they're always uploading new original videos and series. So you can kind of just pick and choose new hobbies to try and take on, learn more things. And if in 2022, you're trying to like take the plunge and starting your creative career, if you've been thinking about building an author website, one of the classes that I really liked was Start Your Creative Career, Build a Sharp, Smart Online Presence by Chandra Rasula. One of the lessons is building a brand Bible, which I think really corresponds with building an author brand as well, whether that's from your pen name if you're going to use one, to the sort of color scheme you want to keep in mind with your website, and if that corresponds with the vibe of your books, like all sorts of things that you can kind of build from the ground up and help you sort of dig deeper into what you're trying to present to readers. The entire Skillshare catalog is also now available with subtitles in Spanish, French, Portuguese, and German. As someone who always has the subtitles on, I'm so glad that they've expanded to some more languages. And the first 1,000 of y'all to click my link down below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare Premium, so you can start exploring all sorts of different hobbies or learn new skills to support your growing business. And thank you once again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. And now, with my puzzle looking over me, it is time to get back to Project Death as the bad guys close in. Dun, 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 dun. 60,000, I hit 60,000. Hail yeah. I actually didn't even realize that I was close to hitting 60,000. It's only when I'm doing vlogs and stuff that I think about that kind of thing, which is a huge accomplishment. It's just that I'm like, okay, excuse you. I'm like, well, I'm not done with the bad guys, you know, closing in section yet. So it feels like kind of a weird celebration point as I'm in the middle, but this scene has one of my favorite exchanges between the young prince and Tuovi. So even though I've slashed the importance of the young prince and taken away a lot of his chapters, he does still have a pivotal role. He is a minor character. It's just like in a much different respect. Anyways, I really love it. And there's a scene I'd thought up later as part of my re-outlining, or at least like a little snippet of a scene that's a callback to this one. So maybe like 5,000, 7,500 words will separate this scene and the callback one, but I think it's really sweet. And even though we're in the midst of the bad guys closing in and everything seeming to like crumble and the pressure just kind of building and building and building on Tuovi, it's nice to have the little moments of levity and also a little bit of a promise about who's gonna help her storm the castle and, you know, whatever else later. So 60,000 words. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. The other fun part is I don't think any of my other drafts of Project Death ever got this far. So this is actually like an accomplishment. And as I'm in solidarity not drinking, I will cheers with my sparkling water. So, yay me. Yay me. Is that bad? Yay, I'm so great. But about 3,000 words done this weekend, I think. Phenomenal progress. And chapter 22 is done, so I also completed a chapter. So anyways, just all good things really. The bad guys are not done closing in. I still have 3 scenes left to write, but I'm excited and it's going in the right direction and everything feels solid. Holy shit. But I do think that's gonna be it for this vlog. Please do comment down below. Let me know at what point of the outlining or drafting process you might seek out writing craft books. Like if you use Save the Cat, do you use Save the Cat from the very beginning, or do you use Save the Cat like part of the way through your outlining, or do you wait until you are drafting and doing all this stuff to start using it? Let me also know what's one of your favorite callbacks that you do in your current work in progress, if you have one. It can be a 7,500 word gap, or it could be something that's like at the very beginning and the very end. I love when something comes full circle in sort of an outright way. That's like, I don't know what word I'm looking for, like catnip to me. That's not the word I was looking for, but it's the one I got. But as the clock is ticking down to the 31st of January, I'm excited for my YouTube hiatus so that I can just zero in, but 60,956 words. I got this. I got this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you especially to some of my new patrons this month. Amy Thaxton, Brandy Lynn Draws, Arlo, Kimberly Butler, Sophie Opwexer, Kia Kier, and Jacqueline Benoit, and I will see you all very soon with a new video. Bye! Also, this video is being sponsored by sponsored